We are in the middle of one case, trying to seat juries in a few others, sentencing in one, and then just other tidbits in other cases. It was tax week this week, so hopefully everyone got their taxes done on time. And this is a recap of some of the cases this week I am following. I'm your host Mike, and this is an episode of Just Legal History. Let's start with the trial that is ongoing in Idaho, the Chad Daybell trial. I was able to listen to only a small part of it though. At least to me, they were able to improve their audio quality in the coverage. The part I got to watch was about the jail calls that Chad made with his daughter. There wasn't anything too incriminating, but just that the prosecution was trying to show that Chad showed some guilt by knowing what was coming up and that he was trying to do stuff with his money. Wednesday was more financial talk with bank statements and credit cards and how money played an important role in the relationships and events. They also talked about the trips Chad and Lori took with each other and without some of the key people. The big testimony came on Thursday with Melanie Gibbs taking the stand. She was a friend of the couple, and she talked about how Lori and Chad met. She also discussed how they believed that they were married previously in a spirit life, and how there are good and evil spirits. Melanie was also worried about the kids. If you want to add anything about the case, please do so below. In a video I had this week, I covered the sentencing of Hannah Gutierrez. She was found guilty of manslaughter in the Helena Hutchinson shooting and death. She was in court for her sentencing, and we listened to all the people whose lives Helena had touched. Hannah gave a quick statement, and then the judge ripped into Hannah, saying that she was not sorry for what she did, and that her lack of actions led to the death of Helena. Finished up this week with finding enough people to fill the jury. This is one jury I could not be on. I couldn't let my previous bias not affect me in the decision. Plus, after the trial, half the country is going to love you, half the country will hate you. The next trial is for the one for Karen Reed. She is the one who is on trial for killing her boyfriend cop, John O'Keefe. The state's case is that she hit him with the car and then drove off. The defense's argument is that it was a cover-up and maybe he was beaten and then covered up with damage to the car afterward. During the week, they got 12 jurors, but they need 4 more for alternates, so the jury selection will continue on Monday to find the alternates. The 28-question jury questionnaire was leaked during the week if you want to read it. Now turning to cases that involved post-conviction DNA testing. The first one was in the innocence movement, and that is the West Memphis 3 murders. The Arkansas Supreme Court, in a 4-3 opinion, said that they can go ahead with DNA testing. I'm not quite sure which items they want to test. I have heard it is the shoelaces. It brought up an interesting debate about what happens if testing destroys all the available material. If that's the case, then when can you test it? Is it when technology becomes good enough to not destroy it all, or when the person or people convicted wanted testing? But it looks like the DNA testing will go ahead, and maybe the DNA will produce something that will settle the case after all, or will it be nothing, or will it just cause more debate? In another case that's a bit smaller, it looks like Jason Carroll will be able to test the DNA in his case. Jason's case was covered in one of the seasons on Undisclosed, and they are hoping that it is the first case of an exoneration in New Hampshire. Jason was accused of being paid to kill a man's wife along with another person. Jason was the only one of the 3 convicted. The biggest issue in his case was his confession. Jason confessed under the pressure of the detective and his mom, who happened to be a cop in that department. It's rough when your own mom thinks you were part of a murder and doesn't advise you correctly. We'll see in a few months if anything comes from the DNA testing. In terms of the 4 people arrested in the Oklahoma murders of 2 moms, we didn't hear too much this week. We found out that they are anti-government believers and had bags packed to go. They were assigned public defenders to defend them. As more develops, I will let you know. That's a wrap of some of the cases this week. It snowed here in Denver and postponed the Rockies game. I would like to thank Lydia and Joel for helping me with some of the graphics and the opening video. Have a good rest of the weekend, and remember to not do anything that would make you a subject of one of my episodes.